Before we start, don't forget to subscribe and like the video to support us. Thank you. When you get yelled at by your favorite teacher. Used for thinking. Used for writing. When the paper you're reading keeps citing another paper. Your essay must be 1000 to 1500 words. Me, 1000 words. Got it. Me thinking about my dream job. Me studying for my dream job. Heaviest objects in the universe. Our sun. Neutron stars. Black holes. My eyes as soon as I start studying. Me. Getting an A on the test. Me. 1 point away. Topper. I'm only studying 5 hours a day. Second topper. 5 hours. I'm only studying 3 hours. Average student. 3 hours. I'm only studying 1 hour. Me the legend. Wait, you guys are studying? When you feel guilty for not studying, but you're still not studying. When you sit down to study the night before an exam and realize how screwed you are. When you need to stretch your stupidity to 2000 words for an essay. I studied for 3 hours. Be honest. Okay, I studied for 1 hour. Be honest. I opened my notes and took a nap. Thank you. Me and the boys walking into the school knowing we played video games all night instead of preparing for the exam. When they ask if you understood the proof, but you didn't even understand the theorem. What I expect to get every exam. What I actually get. The entire world going to shit. Me worrying about my silly little assignments. My email to my teacher. My teacher's reply. My online teacher saying good morning to the 9 AM class. English teachers when my writing is confusing and hard to understand. English teachers when Shakespeare's writing is confusing and hard to understand. When you know you've done terribly on your exam, but you're just glad it's over. Exam question. Describe what is happening in this picture. The picture. When you have no idea how to answer the question on the exam, but you refuse to leave it blank. Me trying to write an exam. That one song stuck in my head. When the teacher moves your seat away from your squad cause you disturbing, but he doesn't know the whole class is your squad. Me adding nevertheless in my essay for a little razzle dazzle. 10-year-old me asking why poor countries don't just print more money. My teacher who just said there are no stupid questions. Me has 4 deadlines, 2 exams and 300 pages to read by tomorrow. Also me. When you're relaxing and plan to do your homework at 5:30 and you look up at the clock after 5 minutes and it's 7:56. Most people in class furiously scribbling notes trying to keep up with the professor before they change slides. Me in class. Teacher, don't worry, the test isn't that confusing. The test. When you're cleaning up your room and you find your old cringy 3rd grade essays. When your teacher won't round up your 58.6% to a 100%. The nervous people. When you check your grades and the only A is in your name. Nobody. Physics questions. Due date for an assignment. Me who just remembered it 2 days before it's due. Me, back in the middle school, taking the yearbook picture. The photograph, say cheese. Me. Me asking my classmates at 3 AM if they have studied for the test. Do homework after school. Play games after school. To kinds of people when going back to school. I hate school because it's useless. You hate school because you suck at it. We are not the same. When you try to understand chemistry. Me, I have to stop procrastinating and do all of this work. Me 5 minutes later. When the teacher leaves the cursor on the play bar so it can't disappear. Move the mouse. Freshman year. Senior year. I can't be worried about that, she life goes on, man. In which battle did Napoleon die? His last one. Where was the Declaration of Independence signed? At the bottom of the page. The Ravi River flows in which state? Liquid state. What is the main reason for divorce? Marriage. Give that kid a medal. Front office, calls. Teacher, yeah, I'll send him down. Students. He could be any one of us. Teacher, okay kids, today we are gonna talk about how our phones and social media can make us stressed. Me, it's not our phones that makes us stressed, it's homework that makes us stressed. Teachers. Pretty sure it doesn't. 5 to 18-year-old me leaving the house for school in the morning. I'm not going to teach this. You'll learn it next year. I'll skip this. You should remember it from last year. Indian Ocean, named after India. The other 24 countries bordering it. When the teacher is watching you during a test, and you pretend that you're at least trying to think. My physics teacher explaining, if the sun vanishes, we won't know it for 8 minutes. Me who said it will be more than that if it happens at night. Teacher, you have to pick a partner for this activity. Me, looks at my only friend. Friend, looks at someone else. Me. My mom, our son is going to be a lawyer. My dad, no, he's going to be a doctor. Me in the other room. Me, telling my mom how my day was at school. My mom who received a text from the school saying I didn't go. Nobody. Kids in middle school. Teacher, I've called you in today because your son is exhibiting bad behavior in school. Dad, and he exhibits bad behavior at home too, but do I ever call you? Your dad. You. Every teacher ever. In class A. This is the worst class I have ever seen. Class B is far better than you. In class B. This is the worst class I have ever seen. Class A is far better than you. What teachers see. How we feel. When you ask someone what time is, and they respond with 12:15 instead of just telling you it's 12:15. Thanks for the math homework. The kid who used to remind teacher of the homework arrives in hell. Satan. Well, I just wanna say that I'm a huge fan. What do you mean by ETC? End of thinking capacity. Classmate, curses. Me, I'm going to tell the teacher. Them, please don't. Me, raise his hand to go to the bathroom. Motivate your answer. Go on to go. Teacher. Me who failed in test. That kid who copied from me. UWP, we care about your mental health. Also professors. If I can get them depressed, then I'll have done my job. Why are you at school so early? My mom told me to go to hell. Me calculating the bare minimum I can do on my final to pass the class instead of just doing my final. Teacher, checking my paper in front of me. Me. The train station that stayed open for a single schoolgirl finally closes down. Carefully, it's a hero. Teacher, no stupid questions. Also teacher, prove this is a triangle. When you getting help from the teacher and he starts yelling at the class, so you just standing there awkwardly. After years of studying maths I finally found the square root. When you generally studied for a test but still got the lowest mark. I make learning boring. I encourage lack of creativity. I give students 40 minutes of break over 6 hours. Why does no one like school? When the test starts and you hear the smart kid saying, "What the hell is this?" Teacher, for this assignment you may choose your partner. Me and my only other friend in class. Teacher, who wants to show us how you worked out the problem? Me, internally, please don't call me, I have no idea. Teacher. Me. When you aim for the bin, but you hit the teacher. The teacher. You have sinned, child. Prepare to feel the sweet embrace of death. Nobody. Teachers when they have to open a new page in a book. Me on the last day of school. Me during the summer holidays. After completing all syllabus, this is what I write in exam. When the teacher tells you to find a student that went to bathroom 30 minutes ago. And you both start bunking together. What I thought bullies looked like in high school. What they actually look like. When you get detention for talking in class, but your last joke made the whole class laugh. Being a good teacher. Making students redo projects over and over again cause you fail to instruct them properly. Me trying to make small talk. I notice that you're wearing a shirt. When you multiply two negative numbers. We were bad, but now we are good. Me when I look at what my math teacher writes on the blackboard. My resume. Me when I'm actually at work. Teacher, study harder, you are the future of our country. Me studying to leave my country. Nobody is born cool. Except of course. That one student who gives you a mechanical pencil when you ask for a pencil. Me, check over your answers before finishing your exam. In a me, leave it, you wrote what you wrote. Me, okay, this is really important. You're going to want to take notes. You got that? My students. I'm pretending to write something down. Me having motivation to do good in school. That one bad grade. Students be like. Just to be sure. When you zone out in class for 2 seconds. Any exams exists. One guy outside exam center. Me turning up to every lecture. Sorry I'm late. What happened? Nothing, I just really didn't want to come. If I go to sleep my free time will end. And tomorrow will start. Kids afraid to check their grades. Adults afraid to check their bank account. College students afraid to check both. When you're in the middle of an exam and you hear your teacher explaining something to someone. Teacher's going to do another Zoom lesson they spent hours preparing, knowing that every student will have their mic and camera turned off. When you had months to prepare for your exams, but you still left it all until the night before. Me, how do I get a job? How do I pay taxes? How do I buy a new house? Schools. Well, actually. When you get the class cancelled email after you already got ready and are halfway out the door. High school teachers. Elementary teachers. Meanwhile, middle school teachers. Me reading PDF for my exam. Me reading 900 comments of two strangers arguing on the internet. Me after opening any exam and reading the first question. School. 2 + 2 = 4. Homework. 2 + 3 + 4 = 9. Exam. David has 4 apples. His train is 7 minutes early. Calculate mass of the sun. Me, fully prepared for exam. Question number 1. Schools when a YouTube video even slightly swears. Schools when a YouTube video shows a girl stripping. I just think they are neat. If uncomfortable was a picture. Teacher. Things she didn't explain during the lessons. Test. Professor, please don't show up outside of my office 2 weeks before finals asking for extra credit. Me.